Yep, doing good here.
Livin, living.
I think I have to show everybody. We started doing those methods I was telling you about. So our location pages, changing some stuff, and doing those embeds. And I'll show you what happened.
I
This
can
is
tell William is in a good mood.
I was in a real good. Me and Lou talked yesterday, last night before I went to bed, so he put me in a good mood. I might have to start paying Lou to have conversations with him. He's like, Lou, I took his advice last night. He said, "You just need to get rid of negative people." I had a client that literally he goes from whining to happy, whining, happy, whining, happy. I just went, fired. Bye. Don't talk to me no more. Done. And that put me in a really good mood. But I'm gonna show you one. This was I probably can't. Is he in here? I'm gonna see. So I'll tell you what happened because it's actually a student who's actually an agency, so I can't really tell y'all that much. When he came to me, we were at how much visibility? We're at about 8%. And after 30 days with me, we're at 33%. Normally I look for 7 to 9%. And when I saw that, I was like, good God Almighty. Because it normally the graph just goes like this, and this went. So that also put me in a good mood because I seen that after I talked to Lou too. So Brenda. Okay, give me 1 second. Brenda, you're in here. You sent me an email about location pages. Yep. $10 a page is what I charge. So, but send me the email and I'll handle it for you.
So William, if we're not in WordPress, how do you handle that?
I don't do anything in WordPress. No, that's not in WordPress.
So it's like a Word document that you send?
Let me put it this way. If it's not in WordPress, I go for instance. By the way, who is this?
Sherry.
Okay, Sherry. I'm like, all I see is a bunch of men's faces and a woman talking. I'm like, yeah, that's not cool. So, I tell people all the time, I only work in WordPress for obvious reasons because it makes my life easier. It's not about making your life easier. It's about making my life easier so I can do my job right. I have a client that's at scale. When I say at scale, he's sending me 20 clients a month. By March, we're looking right now. He's the second month, so we'll be at 40. With him, he's on Duda. And he's the first one I've taken on Duda only because A, he's a student, B, he asked me to, and I said, sure, let me try it. And when he showed me a report, the rankings went up when he cloned it from WordPress to Duda. I was like, okay, well, let's try it at least. Outside that, no, I don't really do anything outside of WordPress because I don't even like working in Divi. And y'all have seen that. I hate Divi. It's a pain in the ass to deal with. Unless you're a quote unquote Divi user. If you're a Divi user, then you're probably like, oh my God, this guy don't know what the hell he's doing. There's so many easier ways he could do it. You're probably cussing me out watching me. But I'm like in Elementor, I don't even have to know how to do any of it. I just copy, paste, delete, right click. It's like so simple. So that's
William, I wasn't judging at all, I swear.
Yeah, I bet.
But you converted me to Elementor, buddy. I agree with you. Copy paste, man. It's just awesome.
I can literally right click and go copy, right click, paste, done.
Yep.
CSS, if I wanted to slap some CSS code in, it just unifies everything. So that's why we'll be doing. I had a bunch of people say, hey, do a class on WordPress or website design. So I'm going to be doing that. But that's only going to be 5 days. And that's going to be in a couple of weeks after I get my partners and everything going. Let's see here. What else? So we're going to do schema. Let me get all this open for y'all guys and gals. If you have any questions, let me go ahead and this is going to be short and sweet as much as possible. I'm not going to go over every damn thing like Brock did the other day. I'm just going to basically show you where I get shit from. The most important things, you're going to need to get a notepad whenever you go to do schema. All right, so we're going to start. If you were to do, and I'll show you a screen share. Give me 1 second. Go here. Let's do schema markup. And I got some news for you. Guess who's going to be on? I'm interviewing on Friday. Chris Palmer. If you know him in the SEO world. And then I'm interviewing Holly Starks next week. So all the 3 big dogs I wanted outside of Chase Rayner, I got them after I did my interview with Craig Campbell, who's a sweet guy. I like him. I like him a lot. He's a down-to-earth dude. He's not, you know.
Has Chase told you no or not yet?
Chase won't let me comment in his group. He knows better.
Oh.
Yeah, I go to post, and I never did anything stupid. That's what I don't get. You get a bunch of Indians and people that want to, and no offense to anybody who's Indian, but you get a bunch of people that are on Fiverr or whatever, and they come in there and just spam the crap out of everything, and it's like, cool, no problem. You come in there with me, and it's like block. You know, I can't post nothing, so I don't know. I don't get it, but I do get it. Trust me, I do get it because he knows. I'm a lot like him, but Chase, you know, he's not told me no. It's just he doesn't answer me, and then whenever I go to post, he doesn't approve any of my posts ever. But I got the largest group, which is SEO Superstar, I believe. He's led by the owner of Legit, and one of the group members originally had told me. I tried to post and he wouldn't allow me to. Then I went there. Who's the admins of this damn group? And I found out one of my students in here, Esther. She is the moderator. I contacted her. She contacted him. And then he said, yeah, sure, no problem. It's like
Chris Walker.
All right.
Chris Walker.
Well,
So I'm working.
there's always a back door.
I'm
always a
working
back
on
door.
trying to get Chris Walker to allow me to do so. Maybe I could get him on. He just launched a new software tool on I believe AppSumo.
Audit.
Yep. So audit. Yep. QDR USA is old client of mine, and they of course went with somebody else that likes to mess some things up. So we're going to show you what happens when you mess things up. So this old website I built looks beautiful and all that jazz. Roofer website. You can see it. Nice and pretty red, white, and blue. Patriotic. Looks gorgeous.
Looks
all that
good.
crap. It's doing good on SEO, but as far as my schema that I had on this thing, let's see it. This is your typical, should be your typical schema when I ran it yesterday, Matt. Yep. 1 page. This is 1 page of schema. This is what everybody uses when they're doing WordPress plugin. This is what he was showing you. You're going to have your, what type is it? Web page ID. What's your URL? What's the name? This is basically essentially the title of that page for QDR USA. When was it published, modified? What's the description? What's that page's description or meta description? What's the ID? This part right here is the most important. Don't ever touch this part. Here's their URL. What's their name once again? What's the description? It's Roofing Jacksonville. And it's giving you this very basic crap. Logo. he doesn't even have in here that I see is longitude and latitude. So it's really even beyond basic. But this is one page of schema. Now, the beautiful thing about schema, so when I show you this, y'all don't need to be scared shitless, is because when you're doing this schema, and I'm going to pull this up. Let me get this. There we go. Can y'all see all the highlights? So this is from Brock Schema. It's 37 pages, 31 pages. I'm sorry. It's a lot. So think of the easiest way I could tell you to think of schema is when Google sees something, for example, you see this beautiful website. This is what Google sees, right? They see all this code. And what are you calling this specific image? You understand? They see the alt tags that you're calling it, right? So schema is essentially me taking all my data, all my titles, all my meta descriptions, everything, and shoving as much of that data into schema, right? Are you still following? Yep. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So everything that I've went through here and highlighted outside of this, and this will all be uploaded on the back end, so you could grab it and steal it and use it. Another way there's two ways you do it. You could use this one from Brock and use it as a SOP, or you could go, hey, let me find someone that's in roofing in my area that's doing exactly what I want to do. Copy their schema and just go in there and change everything I've highlighted, right? So literally what you're going to want to do, the very first things I want to do whenever I'm going to do a client, let's say it was a roofing client, is I'm going to go, okay, I need their business info, the NAP, name, address, phone number. So I need their name, address, phone, email, client, business owner name if you have to. Credit card information / payments, descriptions. I need a long one. I need a short one. I need the URL, obviously. Let me put that up here. Do you have citations? I need that. Do you have any articles pushed out or featured posts, stuff like that? But I tend to stay away from articles, featured posts, because here's what's happening. If you use articles in here, not citations, when the press release is no longer good after 30 days, now your schema's broke. So I don't use that. Just your citations. All right, then the hardest part of all this, machine ID. Until you get used to know where to look for, which I'm going to show you exactly where to look for it. Right? Prior to all that, though, you need your keyword list. I'm going to save this for y'all too. Cheat sheet. So here's the cheat sheet where I'm typing out. I'm going to give that to you. A name, address, phone number, or your NAP. So y'all don't get confused about that. Name, address, phone, email, URL, client or business, client / business owner name, credit card payments, citations, hours of operation, citations, description, long description, short description, keywords list, machine ID, CID, and I'm going to give you plugins to pull quite a bit of this stuff too. So makes your life easier. So all this nice, beautiful, highlighted stuff, right? Everything I just went over is like extremely easy to do. That part's easy. The hardest part about this is the damn machine IDs. So if I had another client, I'd enter in their address here, what city they're in for address locality, what state they're in for address region, what's their postal code, what's their country. Real easy. You're going to see through this, a lot of stuff is just repeated in different sections for different types of schema. Right here, you have all this. This is google.com search $Q means query. I'm doing a Google search for their brand name, which is Smiley plus drain plus cleaning plus services at and KP, which means knowledge graph only, and knowledge panel. KP, knowledge panel, and KG, knowledge graph, machine ID here. If you're very popular, and I'll show you this, if you're a very popular type company, let's say Roto-Rooter, which is, or whoever, you're going to have a knowledge graph, which is what this is, or knowledge panel over here, right? If you're, in my opinion, you can get them, but let's say I'm just Quality Discount Roofing. I don't have no damn knowledge panel, knowledge graph. So, you don't have to quote unquote do the knowledge graph, knowledge panel aspect of it. You don't have to do this part of it. You could just go straight to the machine ID. You could go, because this is only going to show the way it's set up right now, the knowledge panel and knowledge graph. I could literally edit it and have it just show the machine ID instead of knowledge panel, knowledge graph. Okay. Now, machine ID, where do I get this from? Back when a company is very popular, let's say, for instance, Instagram. Instagram used to be owned by itself. Then, of course, comes along Facebook, and they go, up, I want to buy you because you've gotten too big and you're my competition. So they buy them out. All right. Used to be a company called Freebase. Freebase is where we used to get these machine IDs. You can look up machine IDs and study it all day long till you're blue in the face online. Go on YouTube, look up schema, machine IDs, and study it. If you want to do this stuff, I would tell you to do that. And that's probably the best route to go. Because doing one little session, 2 or 3 with me is still not going to be enough. You're going to have to practice till you get faster. But let's go ahead and I'm going to show you. This is called Wikidata. Wikidata.org is the best place that you can go to get the machine IDs that I have found. I'm going to show you this. Machine IDs, right? Here's one such website. All right. Let's say I wanted to look up, let's go for locksmith. And it says craftsman who works with keys and locks. Okay, let me choose that, not the American wrapper. You go down here, you see statements, you see all this information. Then you see identifiers. Identifier is exactly what a machine ID is. So you see here, it has a knowledge graph for the term locksmith, right? But on this, and then we also have this one, but in specific, we have Google Knowledge Graph, but I don't see the quote unquote machine graph, which the machine ID, which tells me it's not on Freebase. I'll give you an example of an actual machine ID. Let's go to, let's say, plumber, roofer, and see what we find. So we go down to identifiers and we look for Freebase. I don't see Freebase, and there's Freebase right here, right? Freebase ID. This is a machine ID. Okay. You want to find a machine ID if you're doing roofing. This would be the machine ID, right? For that specific, let's say this is on roofing, and I'm going to show you this. Give me 1 second. And let me pull this.
William, if you see the Google Knowledge Graph ID, is that
I
equivalent?
use it. Yeah, I'll use it. So I'd grab it. I would still grab it and I'd mark that as the knowledge panel and use it. So I'm going to show you this real quick. So this is the code we just copied from here. The identifier Google search query, the business name plus Caldwell, which is the location. You know, you could do the knowledge. They only want the knowledge panel only and knowledge graph for a machine ID. All right. Let's go like this and take off the knowledge. And it's showing you, this is all the information we pull about this particular company. And let's change. The only thing we're going to change and see what happens is this machine ID, right? So let's go back over here to Roofer and pull that machine ID. And I'm going to change a couple of things too, because obviously this drain company is not, you know. Let's go Roofer, right? Caldwell. Let me change a couple of things. Obviously, it's not going to pull up, but go to this real quick. All right, let's type in quality, or let's just type in Roofer. So with that machine ID, it's pulling everything about roofing in Caldwell, right? So the most important thing you're going to have to get is your machine IDs for that specific company, or even let's do this one. Let's say Weather Tight Roofing Inc. So let's go like this. Weather Tight Roofing Inc. Caldwell. Right? So everything it pulls up via that machine ID is going to be all about that specific company, right? So that's why they're one of the most important things to get. So if you go through here, once you have your knowledge graph, once you have your machine ID, the rest of it is pretty much just redundant stuff. And if you go through it, we're going to go through it page by page. So you have your machine ID. This is knowledge graph, machine ID here. Google search with your machine ID. Once again, another, you know, this instead of, let's say, for example, this is Smiley Drain Cleaning Caldwell. This one's Smiley Drain Cleaning plus Service, right? Smiley Drain Plumbing Company. He's using different queries or different keyword searches and putting that in there with the machine ID. Then you go down here and then you have the actual business name, you know, then you have the description, then we have the phone number, we have the URL. Where's the logo at? If you go to back into WordPress, you can always pull where your logo is at, the URL for a logo. If you don't know how to pull where your URL is located at, I'll show you real quick. Let's try it on, let's say QDR USA, the old client. And I'll show you how you get your URL structure. Go over the logo, right? Open image in new tab. Why is it saving it? Open image in new tab. And here's where your URL's at. Right? So I got my URL. I copy it and I can paste it over here. Do you have a map? How do I get my CID? Your CID is easier to get. You can go to, and I'll put it over here. There are plugins that you can use to get your CID. And then also you can go to maps.google.com. Let's type in, if my plugin pops up, you should be able to see it. So, and then also I have a plugin. I'm going to show y'all how to get the machine ID of a company. You see up top this red strip. It tells you the MREID, which is machine ID for quality discount roofing is All right. Then your CID is also up here. Another way you can get it, I have 2 or 3 ways, quick ways, plugins to get it. I'm going to put those on the back end as well. Because if I tell you how to get it from up here, it's convoluted, you know, instead of me just giving you a very simple way to get it. But you're going to get your machine ID, CID. Once we have that, right, we go back here. What payments do you accept? You may want to put all these in, you know, you may only want to, I don't want to change any of this. I just put, you know, the typical credit cards, cash, check. What's your additional property? This right here is from your business site. So you're also going to want your, I'll put it down here. You're going to want your Google business site, and I'll show you where to pull that from. Google business. All right, let me save that. If he has one. This guy's a new one, yep. So here's your quote unquote business site link. Right? You grab it from there. Once you have that, save it, because you're also going to put in other places. So you put it right here, additional property. What's your price range? You may want to put $1 sign, $2 signs, $3 signs, whatever, right? Where your hours of operation, these are in military hours, you know, 0100, 1130, you know, all that craziness. Disambiguous description basically means longer description. You have a short description, longer description. Best in. These are all the quote unquote supposed awards you've received. You take all your keywords and put 2021, 2020, whatever, best in New Jersey, or best in New Jersey roofing contractor, best in New Jersey roof repair, best in New Jersey new roofs, best in New Jersey flat roof, best in New Jersey tilt roof, best in New Jersey angle roof, whatever, all your keywords there, right? So that takes up all that. Then you go to your offer catalog. What's your business name once again? What's your ID? Productology. So how do I get this term right here? Productology for the products that are going to be featured underneath these services. You copy this right here. And this is how hard it is. This part's not hard at all, in my opinion. Go like this. This says plumbing, right? Let's watch this. If I want to change it to lawyer, it shows me everything about lawyers. If I go roofer, it shows me everything about roofer. Real simple, that part is. So it's associating that specific high DA website with whatever's your main keyword or service: roofing, plumbing, doctor, lawyer, optometrologist, whatever. Schema, what's your service? And you're going to list every one of your services with every one of your IDs, with every one of your URLs. So in this case, drain cleaning. What's the website URL? What's this ID? And what's the URL? It's going to be the same. Then what's your description? Same thing. It's going to be on every damn one of them, except you're going to be changing it to whatever the keyword is. Whatever the key service page is, that's what you're going to use. Then you see this drain repairs. He goes to the drain repairs URL, the drain repair ID. Then he gives that same description. He does that all the way down to this little page right here. And then we need our CID, our Maps Google CID, right? And I'm going to give you the plugin so you can get the CID, because it's much harder if I go to maps and say, oh, you got to take this little piece of information. Kind of like what Brock does. He goes, here's this whole URL. Just remove this, remove this, remove this. And then here's your, machine ID. I'd rather give me a plugin that just says, here's your machine ID. I don't want to do all that craziness. That's just me. So then you got to same as identifier. What's the same as? Same as, you go to Wikipedia, you take your keywords and look for Roto-Rooter. Okay, same as what? What does a plumber do? Sink repairs, pipes, storm drains, grease trap, all that stuff. So a roofer would be, let's say, shingles, roof nails, all these different key, terms that they may use in the business. You're going to do the Wikipedia, go to the Wikipedia, put same as, this is Roto-Rooter, same as what? Sink in this case, and this is on wikipedia.org. So if we go to wikipedia.org, let's type in, I'm just doing this for you real quick, roof. There you go, roof. Let's go, tilt. I don't know. I'm just tiles. There we go. Roof tiles. There you go. It's just, there's your same as roof tiles. Let's go roof. I'm not a roofer, so please forgive me. Roof supplies. Let me see if there's anything that tells you a bunch of different stuff. Building materials. There we go. Building materials. Let's say hardy board, because I know roofer do this. Hardy board siding, hardy board siding, or vinyl siding. There it is, James Hardy Industries. Fiber cement sidings. These are all same as type terms. You're not entering in, let's say, vinyl siding plus my location. It's just the term or something that they use. All right. So we pull out all this information. We got our CID. We do all the same as information, which is right here. All this is all same as. So you do it with all your keywords, right? Minus the locale. Maybe if it's a plumber, it's things that they'll deal with in their industry. If it's a doctor, what type of doctor? Mental health. And then you could do, for example, let's say same as ADHD. All right. What's the same as for this one? The same as for this one's that URL. All right. So that's your same as. Then we go back here. Here's all these funky rewards we're talking about, but let's go back up here real quick. Then you go here. You're not going to change from hashtag contact. This would be, in our case, let's say smileydrain.com/contact us, hashtag contact. You don't want to change the hashtag contact. You want to leave it the hell alone. Don't change it. Right? Then this is your URL, your about, your blog. You don't change the hashtag about. You don't change the hashtag blog. If you do, you'll screw it up. So just don't touch it.
Okay, William, why is that if you don't have those hashtags on your
the hashtags are just identifiers for that specific, for the schema. The only thing you want to change is what your actual URL is. So let's say it was qdrusa.com/about us. That's what you want to change. Not the hashtag about, not the hashtag blog, not the hashtag services. Okay.
It's not an in-page anchor. It's actually an
Correct.
identifier.
You got it.
Got it. All right. That's good to know.
So same thing down here where you see our URL and it says smileydrain.com /hashtag organization. That's an identifier. Smiley Drain, you would change that. That'd be your business name. What's your legal name? What's your URL? What's your description? What's your disambiguous description? Main entity of page. Entity of page would be, in this case, it's a wiki page on Wikipedia in plumbing. Let's say it's roofing or doctor or lawyer. We go over here to Wikipedia once again. I'll enter in Valerie. Let's type in doctor. I don't know. Doctor of psychology, doctor of medicine. So this would be your identifier in this case, doctor of medicine. And I would change that right here. Main identity of page. It's not your business name. It's what industry are you in? Okay. Founding date really doesn't matter. You can change it to this year if you so desire, or just leave it as is. What's your latitude and longitude? All right. I'm going to put all these little plugins down here. Lat and longitude plugin, CID plugin, MREID plugin, because I'm gonna make y'all's life as easy as possible to find that information. What's your feedback policy? And you change your latitude, longitude. You can get that off of maps as well if you want to do it the hard way.
Hey, William.
Go ahead, Jared.
Sorry, quick question. You know how you have that latitude and longitude under the geo coordinates? If it's a service area business, do you recommend putting the city's
city.
lat?
You can use the main city. Yep.
Got it.
Because I was actually doing that for the roofing company last night too. So, name. What's your legal business name? If it's Smiley Drain, Quality Discount Roofing, whatever, put it there. Where's your privacy policy page? You're going to put that one here for feedback policy. What areas are you serving? So if you're in New Jersey, what are some surrounding areas or cities in New Jersey? You put all that there, right? Then all your best in awards is all your keywords with the magical little combination, just 2020 best in. Then here's some more of your keywords all down here. These are just keywords, right? Founder, if you know the business person's name, that's where you're going to put the founder's name. This is why I was saying on this sheet, who's the business owner's name, client business owner name. Then you're going to go back over here, put your address, city, state, zip, country, what their phone number is, what languages they speak. If you want to change it, I just leave it there. Unless you're in another country, I would just probably leave that alone. What's their email address? Same as information. These are your high authority citations. When I mean your high authority social citations, you ever see the freaking schema? And let me see if I can show it to you, where you look somebody up and underneath their Google Maps, you see, I'll show you. Let me see if I can just pull one. Quality, let's go Smiley Drain Cleaning. See if it has it here. Usually, you see these profiles down here mentioned at the bottom? They're social profiles. That's due to schema. Right? So that's why we put that schema in there. Because we're trying to tell Google, hey, pull my damn social icons. So that's why we put that schema in here. Type right here. Are you a roofer, doctor, lawyer? Change it to that. What's your ID? Once again, don't change the hashtag. Anything after that hashtag, just change your URL. What type of business? It's a local business. What type of local business? Doctor, lawyer, roofer. What's your name? What's your description? What's your disambiguous description, which is just a longer description than your short description? What's your entity page? That's your main URL. Okay, your same as. What's your same as? Facebook, and I'm putting my Facebook link, and I'm putting my Google CID map link here. Right? For Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Any other ones I may have, let's say on Apple Maps, or any of the other ones that we have, like what's the other one? There's a couple of map programs basically, and you put those in here. Yelp. Drain your business site, your Google business site is mentioned here. And then here's your search queries for Yahoo, right? And these are all queries for, let's say, articles that you've done. If you actually want to post them, these are what we call here, and we're going to be going over this probably either with Brock or myself, But basically this right here is what we call parasite websites. Parasite websites, a high ranking authority website that's very local, centralized. Y'all with me? Yep, y'all are with me. Okay. I just making sure. But a parasite website is high domain name authority, localized sites like Patch, Newsfront, and I try to get my my blogs on these. And I'll show you, for example, what does Patch look like on this one. And Brock has actually done these before where I've seen them. I've done them where you'll do the ad and you'll be on page 1 in the news under Google News within less than a few days, a lot of times. And this is just a localized, you see it specifically for Caldwell's, New Jersey. Patch, you could put on, you can literally, the only downfall is you have to have an email address for any specific location you want to use. In other words, if I wanted to do New York, New Jersey, Caldwell's, New Jersey, every New Jersey I want to use, I have to have separate emails, separate Patch accounts to do them with. All right. So this is some things we're going to be talking about when we go over parasite listings, podcasts, MapQuest, Foursquare. All those are very high authority type websites. Another podcast, Owltail. He has all these right here. Money Mailer, Jobs, Job Listing, Yelp Listing, Manta Listing. All these are very high DA authority type websites, right? Once again, you have your address and all that jazz down here. Then we got your logo up here, which I already told you get that. Get your added here. What's your logo URL? Logo URL. Right, you change all this information once again. Put in all your keywords here once again. Keywords here, CID here, hours of operation, same thing over and over, latitude, longitude. So, I mean, it's really the same thing. Do we have, I mean, you can go through this. It's the same thing, Wikipedia. Everything I've highlighted out for you is the only things you want to change whatsoever, unless it's a hashtag. And you need to get your knowledge graph, knowledge panel if you have it, get your machine IDs, all that jazz is all laid out. Then the very last part down here at the very bottom is is reviews. All right, you can make them up or pull them from Google. I don't really give a crap. Here's your keywords, right? Here's all your information, keywords. Then I give these reviews. On such and such date in the morning, we called your company to solve a kitchen drain issue. These are all just freaking reviews, and you're shoving as much information in the schema as possible. A review schema, and these will pull up. Colleague schema, and you don't have to change any of this right here. None of this. You don't need to change any of that, right? Don't change any of that one. I just saved it. You could slap your email in here if you want. If you have an image you want to use, you can put that there. Change your job title, change your name if you want. Description, keywords, once again, all these keywords, and you're done with schema. One of the students has no clue about schema, did this the other day. It took them 5 hours to do it. If you go to run schema and then you run an error, if there was an error when you ran schema, it will tell you up here errors, right? And it will tell you where the error's at. So let's go try to pull one real quick before we start opening it up. This is a question. Roofing Caldwell. Let's just stick in roofing area. Let's grab weather tight and see if he's got any errors on his stuff, okay? And then once we do that, we'll go to open up some questions about schema or any other questions you all may have. And it's very typical to get errors when you're doing schema. So he doesn't have any errors, great, but he's got the typical schema, which is just going to be web page and a couple other things. Let's try JB's and see if JB has any errors. be a miracle if none of these people have errors. You always see errors, at least one usually. But if you have an error, the beautiful thing, yep, see 3 warnings, not an error, but it's giving you a warning and it's telling you exactly where it's at. So if you click on it, it shows you what line it is, and you can literally go in here and edit it, change it, fix it. If it's an error or a warning, what's the price range? Price range is recommended. In other words, he's not using it. He's not using it. He's not using the telephone field. He's not using the address field. So it's telling you, hey, buddy, you need to start using this stuff. It'd do the same thing. If there was an error, it would tell you, hey, you have some errors. You need to fix them. And it would tell you exactly where they're at. As you start doing it, it's going to be really hard to do it up front. But once you've done it for a while, then it'll just be boom, 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 done. It's the same stuff as long as you have a SOP and you have all the data to begin with. Don't do nothing until you have all this precious information I gathered together for you in one place. And then once you do that, you can, you'll have everything you need and you don't have to go looking and stop. So I'm going to open up some questions. Let me see first. Go over here. Yeah, you can get mine to new peaks. Yeah, I mean, honestly, with all that data, I'd almost guarantee, if I slap that in there with all this other juicy stuff I've been doing, it's going to be a game changer. Yep. Google Trends is another place you can get your machine IDs. I've just, I don't, because what happens if you go to get your machine IDs from there, like Brock showed, you have to remove the F and the % sign. And you can do it that way as well. Can schema affect your loading speed? Not that I've seen. I mean, and I use that one plugin simply that Anthony, which I adore him for, has shown me. And it makes all of my websites load under like 1.2 seconds. So, but let's see. FYI, useful JSON parser schema. Let's go. I'm going to grab that for you and I'll slap that in there too in the very bottom because he mentioned something that's good for JSON schema or formatter. Schema from Yoast sucks. You're getting the very basic one-page schema when you're using Rank Math, Yoast, or any of them. They may do article schema. They may do the blogs. They may do the organization website. But they're not going to have 37 pages of pure keywords and all that information. If you have 2 locations, do you have to copy? Well, I would, once again, the way I do things, I would have 2 separate websites with 2 different locations and GMBs. That's just me. I'd put your main address. Usually your secondary address is not when you put that. Where do you add your schema? In WordPress, there's a plugin. I'm going to drop it in on the bottom of here. It's a WordPress plugin to add PHP/HTML snippets. All right. And literally, once you add it, you go into each page at the very top of it. You'll just drop it in. Every single page, you're going to have to take this schema and drop it in. The beautiful thing about a plugin is you add the plugin, it just slaps the damn code on every page. You ain't got to go in there manually. In this case, you're going to have to go in there manually on every single page and add your schema. But if you see the rankings jump like I've seen certain things, it's just, to me, it's worth it. So let's open up for about 15 minutes worth of questions. Go ahead, Lou.
Yeah, William, I just had a question. Is the schema included in your site builds out? Is that something you guys do?
I am well, I'll tell you what we were doing until I talked to Brock. We were doing the plugin just to add the very basic schema, and that's it. Because this shit right here, I mean, it's like, it's very hard. Even once you get good at it, let's say 2 hours. And that's after you gather all the data. But what I am doing, I just started training my VA, one of them, just to work on schema. So what I'm doing now is we're going to go, okay, each person, after month 2, not month 1, but in month 2, we add location pages. Month 3, 4, etc. We start adding in some more of this other stuff in schema. But yes, we are going to be including that in our stuff that we do. I pray to Almighty God, maybe someone will come out with a plugin that will make it easier. But if God's listening, tell them, say I want a plugin. So, because it would make it a lot easier.
I mean, in the local space though, is this just
Well, that's
overkill?
that's why I'm saying with all that jazz, I could almost tell you, just give me my location pages.
Right.
And a little bit of schema. I don't even imagine this. With that 30-something % rankings, I don't even do that schema yet.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
For me, I mean, you can do it. I haven't tested it yet. So what I want to do is let me try this on someone I'm really having a hard time ranking, which was a locksmith, until I found that, by the way, he was at like 6%. This one I showed you, I think, last night. And I found out what he was doing wrong, deleted those URLs. Someone's doing black hat against him. Remove those URLs, add the location pages, and within 1 day, he jumped up like 12% or some shit like that. Now, in his case, where he's having a really hard time ranking, very hard industry, very competitive industry, I would say do it. It's a very competitive industry. It's not like I'm an optometrist or a psychologist, something that's not going to have, I don't think, have thousands upon thousands of people trying to do it. You know what I'm saying? So in a case-by-case scenario, you may say, yeah, it's not worth it because it's not that competitive in that area and I don't really need it. I mean, because I've seen it where I've just done, embed the damn posts from, from Google and then do my location pages and I'm on page 1. The thing with
the thing I noticed with you get it to get to win, whatever that is, and if you don't have to do it, you don't do it. But it's just
that's what I'm saying. For me, this is just, I wanted to give y'all a SOP. It's another tool, basically, that if I need it, I'll use it. If I don't need it, I won't use it. So,
gotcha.
That's
all right. Thanks, man.
Yep. Go ahead, Brock.
Yeah, so I played with Brock's template the other day and built one out in like, hold on. Don't know why it's echoing. I have my audio slide.
Yeah, let me come back to you and just mute it until you figure that one out. Go ahead, Javid.
Can we get a copy of that file?
Yep, I'm going to be sending, that's going to be in the back end with the video. I'm going to have my cheat sheet and I'm going to have a copy of that file.
Perfect, thank you.
I mean, and another thing you could do, give you another example why you may or may not want to do it. Let's say it was a roofer in Atlanta. There's several ways of doing this. I believe in reverse engineering stuff. So what I would do, for example, just me, this is how I do stuff. I mean, might not be everybody. I go, all right, here's the #1 roofer in Atlanta. Oh, Mr. Roofer of Atlanta. All right. Let's grab his link address. Let's go over to Google and do schema markup checker. And let me test his schema. Let me see, does this guy have a ton of schema or not? Because Atlanta is a huge area, right? And he ain't got nothing. I mean, nothing. But what he does have, and this is why I tell you, watch out. He's got the magic, which I call the magic, the location and his term and the name. Let's go to Bell Roofing. Let's try Bell Roofing and just see. Let's see if they got Bell Roofing, if it's got anything in it. The other one, this is why I tell you one of the main determining factors, and people don't like it, of GMB is what is your name. So he's just using web page. So most of these guys are only using like the bare minimum. And what Brock's getting at is if they're only using the bare minimum, I can't imagine the kind of rankings you can get if you actually utilize schema to the max instead of just doing the bare minimum just to get by, because it's very hard work. Don't get me wrong. You know, so, and some of them, especially when they get into some black hat SEO and some, you know, they don't care. I just want to rank on top of a very competitive niche. They'll do whatever it takes. And that's what you may have to do, but it'll be there. If you have to use it, we'll have it. Come back to you, Brock. Try it again.
Oh, no. No better?
You're better.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I was messing with Brock's template, putting in some schema. Under the area served section, I was trying to do what he did, and I think I saw it in yours as well, where you have like USA and the state, and then like just the cities and quotations that you were trying to like, you know, kind of keyword served. And every time I did that and plugged it into the tool there, it was showing up as an error. I ended up just taking that out and just using the either DVPedias or the Wikipedia pages, and then it worked, and there was no errors. All right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Have you read it before? Or is that weird or not weird? Or I just
That's fine. The DB
Okay.
the DB areas are good too, because you'll see that if you get the code, the DB is the other one.
okay.
Javid, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one more question.
Mhm.
I don't recall anywhere mentions of place ID. Like I know, and I do hear a lot of people talk about machine ID and CID. Like, does place ID has less value or not? I don't know. What's your opinion on that? In like even
I
in
don't
this
think it's
schema?
that. I don't think it's that important. The rest of it, yes. The CID, the machine IDs, the entity IDs, all that jazz, yes. Place ID, I mean, you're getting latitude, longitude, and some other stuff. Anything and everything in there that's important is what I'd be utilizing. But go ahead, Sherry.
Yeah, just a quick question. I just get confused when you say you need to put it on every page. Do you put the full, 20, 30 pages on every
That code, yes, ma'am.
So the full
You
code.
have
on
a
every-
plug-in, and let me see if I could pull it for you, because I'm just going to put it on the cheat sheet. In WordPress, let's go into WordPress, and I'll show you real quick. Rank Fortress Academy. I'm going to see if I can pull up that WordPress, and then I'll show you. Because it's the same thing you have to do if you don't use a plugin to add in your Google Search Console or your Google Analytics codes. Google Analytics tags, stuff like that. So let's go PHP, HTML, insert. Of course, I spelled it wrong. So here's one of them you can use. Insert header footer code. This is what you're looking for. This is specifically for AdSense ads, but trying to pull it up so I can show you. Insert HTML snippet, CSS, JavaScript, because all schema is Java basically. So you want to add this. Once you add it, basically you'll go into that page and it's going to show you where you could add. If you scroll to the bottom or to the top, you can insert JavaScript. So give me 1 second and I'm going to install this. I'm going to put y'all on pause real quick. But let me install this while. Go ahead, Wayne.
William, I noticed there were a lot of keywords that you mentioned. Do they
Right.
have to be on every page? Do they have to be in the content? How many times do they have to be mentioned?
No, that's
in the
just
minimum?
it's totally different than, let's say, your website design stuff or your pages. You only want to use like 2%, and the schema you can just take, if you have 100 keywords, you just put them all in there.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah. Let me see. I've activated it. Let me see if I got it activated. Cat just had babies, so she's acting a little bit, needs some help. Oh, let's see, revision. There we go. So when you're actually, let me show you. When you're in the back end of your website, this is your back end, and you want to add your PHP HTML, you can generally do it in the very bottom of your website. Custom data, right? Custom snippets, custom HTML code. Another thing you could actually do, which is another reason why I like freaking WordPress, is you can edit it with Elementor and insert HTML and code actually on the page with Elementor. Anybody else before we get off here? Any questions regarding schema? Harley, go ahead.
It's not regarding schema, but my season is going to start. So I didn't know how long you'll have the class up. So is it something I can?
No, the class you can, I mean, we got another 2 months. So we get through March and then April. And then after that, it's going to be available forever. You have lifetime access. So it'll be up forever.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yep. All right, I'm going to get off here. If you have any questions, email them over to me. Let's see what else. And I'm going to get this uploaded onto the back end. Okay, give me 1 second. There's a couple of them. Oh. Yep, header, footer, code manager. That's a good one. I'll add that in there. I'll put that on the bottom. Yep, and when you're doing it, mainly the people that do it per page, it's going to be, let's say I only want article schema on the blog or article page, and location schema on specific location pages. Location pages, would I use a different schema type? Not necessarily. Yep, schema in the header. Where's a good place to learn schema 101? I'm just honestly, Harley, it's gonna go through the SOP, go through the video, watch it over and over and over again. YouTube is your friend. Google is your friend. This URL shows all schema from every page of a website. Great for snooping and stealing. Oh, I love that. Snap. I have another one that's just like that. So I love those tools. Some people hate them. I love them. So do you separate schema per page or site-wide? Site-wide's good enough. Brock had a YouTube video where he explained it to a 15-year-old, which he helped. Yep. And I'm William is my friend. I appreciate that. I will talk to you soon, guys. If you have any questions, just email me. I'm going to be uploading everything on the back end. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.